Good morning, friends. It's 5 minutes before the service starts, so now is a great time to fill out your joys, sorrows, and concerns cards. They should be right in front of you. You can bring them up to me or Jess. Parents, if your kiddo has a joy, a sorrow, or a concern, we would love to hear those as well. If they can't write yet, you can write it for them. Now, partway through the service near the beginning, we'll sing our kids and our teenagers to classes in the back. That's for me, thank you. Our nursery is closed today, so parents of very small kids, thank you. You can keep them here. Kid energy is great, or you can bring them back to the nursery and just treat it as your own. You can watch the worship service from a TV monitor that we have there. Now, masks are welcome. We have them at either side. If you have a mask need or any accessibility need, our hardworking greeters can connect you with some extra resources. We lock the doors at 1:15, and I need a volunteer to staff the device that sees when people are ringing the bell. Is anyone willing to do that? Okay, great. Thanks, Cynthia. Thanks. We'll start in a few minutes. Testing hand 1, handheld 1. Testing handheld 2, hand 2. Good morning. Welcome here in the sanctuary. Welcome online to the Sunday service of the Unitarian Universalist Church of St. Petersburg. Now we're on the unceded ancestral lands of the Tocobaga and Seminole indigenous Americans. Passover began yesterday for Jewish people, and Lent is still going on for many Christians. Can I get a little more on the pulpit right, please, Ethan? My name is Reverend Ben. My pronouns are he and they, and I am excited for today's worship service. It's called Trans Joy, Radical, Defiant, Collective, and Sacred. You already heard our amazing new music coordinator, Liam, play the opening. The choir is also performing. Todd Wellman is singing. Cal Fox is doing a view from the pew. And I'm probably most excited to welcome our guest worship leader, my friend Jess Hunt. Good morning, Jess.
Thanks, Reverend Ben. If you want a church where trans joy is sacred, where Black Lives Matter, where undocumented people are welcome but ICE is not, I have good news. You may have found your church home.
Thank you, Jess. We have 4 announcements today. The first is about our amazing sexton, Lisa. Most of you know we are sadly saying goodbye to her. And while we are looking for a replacement, we could use some help keeping our church tidy. So if you're interested in helping out, please sign up using the sheets at the entrances.
Our second announcement is about Mingles. Tickets are on sale for these fundraising events, including today's garden party at Trish Birch's house.
Speaking of Trish Birch, she will be giving our 4th announcement. I'm excited for the garden party. The 3rd announcement is we do welcome the unique energy that children bring to our services, along with neurodivergent adults, like most of your worship team today. Our nursery, however, is closed today, so parents of nursery-aged kiddos can hang out here. You can use the nursery room like it's your own and watch the worship services from there on the television. And Trish has our 4th announcement.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Well, as you know, our annual congregational meeting is May 18th this year. That's the meeting where we elect board members and officers and where we approve the budget for next year. So I want to let you know where we are in the budget process. Can everybody hear me okay?
Just making sure. I got 1 nod. Could be a little more.
Okay, yes. Well, first, our thanks to Pat Flynn and the annual giving team for their work on the pledge campaign, their efforts to contact members and secure pledges. And thanks to each of you who pledged generously. Unfortunately, we didn't meet our pledge goal of $276,000, although the $260,000 that we've pledged is more than we took in this year, so not all bad. But still, there is a gap between revenues and expenses that we have to close if we are going to reduce or eliminate our operating deficit. So the board is recommending the following options for reducing expenses. Reduce hours for the 2 open positions, sexton and office manager. Reduce the landscape and grounds maintenance budget by 1/3. Reduce budget requests for guest musicians and guest speakers for worship services. And limit operating funds for building maintenance and repair. These cuts are painful, but they're doable. Are they inevitable? Well, I don't think so. John Motter, our erstwhile financial secretary and accountant by profession, did some calculations for what it would take to reach our pledge goal for next year. If everyone pledges an additional $1 to $3 a week, that would probably be enough. Just give up a Starbucks, a pack of gum, a soda, and you will hardly feel the pain. But I also want you to think about what you will gain, what we all will gain by increasing our pledges. Sunday services enriched by guest speakers and musicians, much needed support for administration and building and operations and maintenance. I encourage each of you to stretch a little more and add to your pledges next year. The little QR codes are still there. It's really easy to do online. I know you will give with joy, and you will bring joy to our beloved community. Thanks. Also, I just want to make a plug for the garden party. You couldn't have a better day, and I think there are a few tickets available, yes? So you can pay cash or check at the door, and Michael Rowe here will give you the details.
Thank you, Trish. Now, as Unitarian Universalists, we are a people of diverse beliefs, but we share a common faith that every being is worthy of love, that what we do in this connected to one another and to the earth. So whoever you are and wherever you are on your faith journey, you are welcome here.
Allow me to give a special welcome to any newcomers. If you are new to UU St. Pete, or even relatively new, you can give a little wave if you'd like, and briefly introduce yourself. Reverend Ben will bring the microphone to you so those on YouTube can hear what you're saying. You're under no obligation to say anything, but if you're willing, we'd love to hear from you.
Good morning, my name is Tasha, and this is my first time here. It looks like I'll be coming back.
Our announcements won you over. Welcome, Tasha. Oh, I'm like, David, you're not new.
What's your name, little girl?
Isabella.
Hi, Isabella. Welcome.
I love dogs, and I love singing, and I love dancing.
Great to meet you, Isabella. Dog singing and dancing.
Thank you for sharing. And thank you for silencing your cell phones. And for Mass, we encourage you to wear one as you are comfortable. Now it's time for us to turn and greet our neighbors. Say hello to someone new today. And please remember to get consent if you're going to hug.
We will now sing the children to their classes. Doom, 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 doom. Go now in peace, go now in peace. May the spirit of love surround you everywhere, everywhere you may go. Please rise as you're willing and able for our first hymn. It's called Meditation on Breathing, number 1009 in the Teal hymnal.
And if you want to be nice and brave today, you don't actually need the hymnals. I'm going to teach it to you with some fun hand movements. We're going to start with this side. So Liam, why don't you play the under part, and I'll teach this side first. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. Let's do it one more time. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. Perfect, perfect. Now this side, you already know all your parts. It's like just half of what they did. Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. You got it. That's your whole part. That's perfect. Okay. We're going to start with you, and then we're going to come in, okay? Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. Very nice. Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. Keep going. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I will breathe out love. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. Everyone,
Please.
Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out.
Please remain standing as Danny Bly lights our chalice. Flaming chalice is a reminder that we choose to focus here today for this time. We believe such time is sacred. I invite you to say our covenant out loud. It's printed in your programs. Love is the spirit of this church, and service its law. Great covenant to dwell together in peace, to seek truth in love, and to help one another. You may be seated. And since you like the announcements so much, we have one more before we go to joys, sorrows, and concerns. Michael Rowe has an announcement about trans joy.
Hello, congregation.
Hello, Michael.
So Rob Wallace asked me to read this in his place, and I almost got a paper mustache, but I thought it wouldn't stay on. So just imagine Rob Wallace reading this to you. My name is Rob Wallace, and I'm here on the planning team for an event that will be held called Building Beloved Community Beyond Binary. The worship team suggested I give a view from the pew today, but unfortunately, I'm on vacation, the first since the pandemic occurred, and can't be with you today. On Saturday, April 26th, from 9:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m., something very special will take place at UU Clearwater. We are going to build beloved community beyond the binary by creating space and time for transgender, non-binary, and gender non-conforming folks, along with allies and advocates, to gather, learn, and grow. At a time when politicians try to write transgender and non-binary people out of existence, we are celebrating the full spectrum of gender identity and expression. I hope many of you will attend. You may not think this event offers anything for you, but I can assure you, you likely have a family member or a friend or a coworker who wants to live authentically and needs your support. As a cisgender person, that is, someone whose gender identity matches the sex assigned to me at birth, I need to know more about how I can advocate for transgender and non-binary souls. And as a Unitarian Universalist, I want to more fully live the values of pluralism, interdependence, equity, and transformation. During Building Beloved Community Beyond the Binary, we will offer workshops for both cisgender and transgender attendees. There will be a keynote address from trans activist Spencer Bergstead. There will be a closing ceremony to talk about what we've got to take back to our communities, and we'll have fun playing a queer history trivia game during lunch. We're asking attendees to register in advance, which is one of the steps we're taking to ensure a safe place. Thanks to the generosity of UU Clearwater's Board of Trustees, attendance for this event is free. You can sign up using the QR code found in your order of service, or you can go to the UUA website and search for BBCBB. Prior registration is strongly encouraged, so your entry will be smooth and simple. And if you'd like to support this event, you can make a financial contribution on the UUC website under the Giving tab. Thank you.
Thanks, Michael. And thanks to everyone who's organizing this event. I'm going to go, and I hope you all go. We come down now to the time in our service for joys, sorrows, and concerns. And those of you on YouTube Live, I haven't said hi to you yet. Hello, you're not here in person, but your presence is still felt. Please type your joys, your sorrows, and your concerns into the text chat. Joanne Kellner will place a stone in the water for each one that was submitted this week. Any last card? Oh, I'll take that one, Azariah. They have 3, so I'll take that one, Azariah, or you can stay over there.
This is 3. This is mine.
You want to start it out? And I'll...
Just read it.
You can start one out, and then I'll use that
Just
time
read it?
to grab
Okay.
one.
The first one is a joy from Joanna Zeman. Yesterday's clearing and planting all around the church.
I'm going to do this next one from Sabina and Jerry. It is also a stone of joy, and also for that same event. Some of you saw photos on our Facebook group. And yes, we have a Facebook group if you want to belong to it. Sabina and Jerry's stone is specifically for Jeanette and Anna, who I think are here. Jeanette and Anna are not here, but let us celebrate them anyway. They organized the work party to do essential landscaping, making our grounds attractive, safe, and rodent-proof. Sabina and Jerry say, it's not glamorous work, but necessary. Thank you.
We have a stone of joy and a stone of concern from Emily Chavi. I'm going through some tough times, but also joyful times at the same time. I am very grateful for my friends and family and new friends and support in my life.
There's a stone of both joy and sorrow from our Azariah. A sorrow because it was difficult to be fatally serious with someone, but a joy because it ends an unhealthy relationship.
I don't have another one.
Okay, and then the final stone that was submitted is from Danny Bly. It's a stone of joy for new beginnings and for the precious beauty of every moment.
And we'll place the final stone for those joys and concerns that remain in our hearts, perhaps too tender to be spoken out loud.
Now, once again, this week's responsive reading comes from the draft of our community covenant. The words can be found in your order of service. Participants in the Unitarian Universalist Church of St. Petersburg community come together out of a common belief that what we do in this world matters.
Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its law.
Since a healthy and vibrant community depends on our adherence to a common congregational covenant, we expect all community participants to commit the following practices as part of our great covenant.
To dwell together in peace, I will celebrate diversity, inclusivity, and opportunities to learn and grow.
I will strive to experience myself and other community members as multidimensional individuals, complex and filled with value.
I will not speak to anyone in a hateful, harmful, or hurtful way. I will hold accountable anyone who behaves in ways counter to this covenant.
Thank you. Thank you for helping us practice this. Cal Fox is going to say a bit more about that in a minute. The mystery is that we are connected even when we feel apart. So let's rejoice in our beloved community that makes of the many one. And let's take about a minute of silence together.
Good morning. I'm Cal Fox, not Rob Wallace. And I've been a member of this beloved community since the spring of 2017. That was just a few weeks after we moved into our Florida home from Chicago and Mexico. After we got a little unpacked and settled in, my wife Virginia suggested that maybe we'd like to join a church community. She found this cute little older church on Mirror Lake. So one Sunday we dressed up a bit and came on over. That first day was just amazing. We were warmly welcomed and made to feel like we were already part of this new to us community. Then the service started with the things that we say at the beginning of each service, that what we do in this world matters, that love is the spirit of our church and service is its law. Okay with me so far? Then, this is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. Wow. No dogma to believe, no judgment to endure, just a continuation of our initial feelings of welcome and community, and a mutual commitment to each other to live that way. And we continue to enjoy the warmth of fellowship in this community. It feels safe and welcoming and loving and understanding. Yet I have experienced serious wanderings from the spirit of the covenant over our years of belonging here, which have made me uncomfortable. So when Ellen Hayes and Trish Birch asked if I would join a task force to work on a community covenant, and I learned that my friend Susan Bernor and my new friend Ross Scott would also be members, I eagerly joined the group. I was pleasantly surprised to find that all of us agreed that none of us was interested in replacing the existing covenant. It had resonated with all of us when we first heard it. But we did agree that we could add some practical ideas to it that might help us all understand it better as a living concept that could challenge us to actually live a more spiritual life, to enhance our way of being in the world, that what we do in this world does actually matter, sometimes in small but important and valuable ways. One thing I've learned over the years is that conflicts frequently arise among us when one of us reacts to what they think they hear instead of listening carefully to the other and seeking clarity and responding. I sometimes make unclear statements and, when misunderstood, repeat the same thing but louder, as if I actually think that'll clarify it. When what louder really does is make everyone defensive. And I confess to also allowing my natural judgmentalism interfere with hearing clearly. Yep, I bring my baggage along to every encounter. I've been in many meetings over lots of years where not everyone was heard and or where someone was misunderstood and not allowed to clarify. These meetings almost always ended badly, as did most meetings where not everyone's input was encouraged. There's a wonderful sentence in Max Ehrmann's poem Desiderata that says, "Speak your truth quietly and clearly, and listen to others. Even the dull and ignorant, they too have their story." This simple sentence seems to point to a major source of conflict: poor communication and misunderstanding. It also reminds me of what a smarty pants advisor of mine once said: "You were given 2 ears and 1 mouth. Why do you think that is?" So much of what we put into our covenant efforts has to do with broken or faulty communication and ways to avoid or repair it. These things help me to enrich my life. They encourage curiosity, open-mindedness, and skillful listening. Above all, they refocus my attention on conscious presence, on being present in the moment. For a guy like me, whose tendency is to worry about the future and regret the past and awfulize absolutely everything, being present is a constant challenge. I need all the help I can find to be where my feet are or where my butt is. Like the brief 1-minute pause after joys, sorrows, and concerns on Sundays, I need those mini meditations, those pauses throughout my days to bring myself back to the present, to be where I am, to respond rather than react. How often I get distracted. I recite a prayer without the words actually touching my heart. A passing thought takes me out of my meditation. My phone buzzes and I miss a critical word in our conversation. Bring me back to now. Another thing the task force tried to put into our efforts was an emphasis on responsibility. Taking responsibility and being accountable for how I am in this world isn't always easy for me. I tend to want to blame others for things when things don't go as planned. I procrastinate or abdicate difficult situations. I give up too easily when I meet resistance. This reminds me of a phrase I heard that I hated when I first heard it, but which I have to admit identifies one of my shortcomings perfectly. It said, procrastination is just sloth in 5 syllables. Come on, I'm not slothful, am I? We hear about this stuff in all kinds of ways. When you see or hear something, say something. A Ben Franklin quote along these lines popped up on my TV screen last week. He said, "Those who give up essential liberty to purchase a little temporary safety deserve neither liberty nor safety." To say it another way, those who would not stand for what is right in order to avoid conflict shall have what is wrong and the conflict of that in their mind and soul. Although it's not someone else's responsibility to teach me new ways of being in this ever-changing world, it is their responsibility to point out when I need to learn them. It's then my responsibility to learn them. Rob Wallace's event is just such an opportunity. Being woke is my responsibility. I'm not slothful enough to be whatever the opposite of woke is. Too bad the author and users of that word are so ignorant of the value of wakefulness. One more thing along those lines, to which our task force tried to bring attention, is the idea that this process of living our covenant is full of growth opportunities, large and small, worldly and spiritually. It can nourish us and help us remain mindful. It is work which has no finish line, no ending, but many new beginnings. I'm delighted and committed to take this journey with you. Thank you.
This is a song from the perspective of a character who seems to have lost his joy. My mind is clear now. At last, all too well, I can see where we all soon will be. If you strip away the myth from the man, you will see where we all soon will be. Jesus, you started to believe the things they say of you. You really do believe this talk of God is true. and all the good you've done will soon be swept away. You begun to matter more than the things you say. Listen, Jesus, I don't like what I see. All I ask is that you listen to me. And remember, I've been your right-hand man all along. You have set them all on fire. They think they've found the new Messiah. And they'll hurt you when they find they're wrong. I remember when this whole thing began. No talk of God, then we called you a man. And believe me, my admiration for you hasn't died. But every word you say today gets twisted around some other way. And they'll hurt you if they think you lied. Nazareth, your famous son, should have stayed a great unknown. Like his father carving wood, he'd have made good. Tables, chairs, and oaken chests would have suited Jesus best. He'd have caused nobody harm, no one alarm. Listen, Jesus, do you care for your race? Don't you see we must keep in our place? We are occupied. Have you forgotten how put down we are? I'm frightened by the crowd, for we are getting much too loud. And they'll crush us if we go too far. If we go too far. Listen, Jesus, to the warning I give. Please remember that I want us to live. But it's sad to see our chances weakening with every all your followers are blind. Too much heaven on their minds. It was beautiful, but now it's sour. Yes, it's all gone sour. Listen, Jesus, to the warning I give. Please remember that I want us to live. Listen, Jesus, to the warning I give. Please remember that I want us to live. But it's all gone sour.
Thank you, Todd. Thank you, Liam. Right? Just in time for Holy Week, just in time for Passover. Whew. Our worship leader this morning is a Unitarian Universalist religious professional, justice organizer, and aspirant to UU ministry. My friend Jess brings a deep wisdom from their work in conflict engagement, trans justice, and spiritual leadership, rooted in love, laughter, and lifelong living. They live in Central Florida with their spouse and 4 of 5 fabulous kids. They're here today to invite us into reflection, connection, and collective transformation. The Unitarian Universalist Church of St. Petersburg is proud to welcome Jess Martinez Hunt.
Thank you. Let's begin with a centering prayer. Spirit of love and liberation, be with us in this space as we gather, not in fear, but in fierce celebration. We call in the ancestors and the transcestors, those who danced in resistance, who gathered under cover of night or in the blaze of daylight just to affirm, I am here, I am whole, I am worthy of joy. We call them in because they knew what we know now. Trans joy is sacred. So come into this space as your full, beloved self. You don't have to know all the right words. You don't have to have it all figured out. Just be here with your curiosity, your courage, your compassion, your delight. And let's talk about joy. Let's lift it up, and let's remember why it matters. One of the most profound things I've learned living into my transness is that there was a time when I didn't know what joy really felt like. Not because I was never happy. I've always loved to laugh and play and be silly, but joy, deep joy, the kind that fills your heart and lets your soul breathe, always felt just out of reach. It wasn't even something I chased or longed for. I couldn't name what was missing. I just knew something felt off. It kind of felt reserved for other people, like it lived in another room on the other side of a wall, where I could sense it, but I didn't know the trick to get in. I kept trying to make myself fit into certain spaces and acceptable roles, even though they never really felt like home. I used masks and mimicry to try and be acceptable, to try and find some sense of safety. My life wasn't filled with sadness, exactly. There was more of a quiet disconnect, a constant low hum of not quite rightness, one that I thought was mine alone to figure out and fix, and I was dumbfounded. There was an emptiness I couldn't seem to fill, and I didn't truly understand that it was silence until I heard the beautiful cacophony of trans joy. All that time, what was missing was the lived, embodied reality of my trans joy. And since then, I have learned joy isn't the absence of fear, it's the presence of belonging. The belonging that comes from entering a room and not feeling the need to shrink. The freedom to be loud or quiet or glittery or chill or all of the above or none of the above at all and still belong. And as I've peeled off those layers, I've unlearned shame and relearned truth. I found something waiting for me. Not just survival, not just resistance. I have found joy. It came in little moments at first, a quiet exhale, a name tag written by hand, a dance party with people who loved me exactly as I was, a letter addressed not to legal me, but to actually me, a 5-year-old lovingly calling me hymns, and eventually, now, it comes in floods. It's prioritized. Trans joy is not rare. It's not unreachable. It's happening all of the time. We just have to create the conditions for it to grow. And let's be clear, trans joy is radical because it says, I will not wait to be accepted to celebrate who I am. I will not wait for the world to catch up. I will live and laugh and love in full color right now. The kind of joy that breaks rules, it challenges norms, it makes people uncomfortable, not because it's wrong, but because it's free. Radical joy disrupts the idea that trans people have to be quiet or ashamed or are only worthy of empathy in times of tragedy. It insists on being seen in our wholeness, our grief, and our delight, our rage, and our celebration. Joy is radical because it dreams beyond the limits we've been handed, because it imagines a future we haven't built yet, but can deeply feel in our bones. It gives us a taste of liberation now, even if only for a moment. Trans joy is defiant. It is bold, brave refusal to be defined by someone else's fear. It's the audacity to show up with glitter at a protest, to wear what makes you feel alive even when people stare. It's dancing in your kitchen to a song that makes you feel like you, even when the news tells you you shouldn't exist. It's the strength to say, I will not shrink. I will not apologize for who I am. I will not let your discomfort dictate my dignity. Defiant joy doesn't always look loud. Sometimes it's quiet, tender, a whispered, I love you in the mirror, a deep breath in a safe space, a tear shed because for once you feel free. Let your heart open to what it means to feel that kind of freedom, because trans joy is collective. It doesn't happen in isolation. It grows in community. It's passed around like a shared meal, like a story told over and over, like a laugh that spreads across the room. It's in the community potluck where everyone's pronouns are respected. It's in the mutual aid fund that gives someone access to their meds. It's in the friend who texts, "You've got this," or shows up just to say, "Come as you are." That kind of joy is held together by the people who keep showing up for each other, for the movement, for love. And trans joy is sacred because it's honest, it is healing, because it is rooted in love and in the deep truth that every trans life is a blessing. It's not performative, it's not perfect, but it's real. When we witness trans joy, we are witnessing a holy thing, a glimpse of what the world could be if we dared to love bigger. A moment of spiritual clarity that says, this is what liberation looks like. Take a breath with that. Let it settle, and let it call you forward. Our faith, Unitarian Universalism, is not neutral in the face of dehumanization. We proclaim that love is the center of everything. And when we say love, we mean a love that protects, a love that liberates, a love that gets into the mess of building beloved community for a more just world. We believe that transformation is holy, that becoming more fully ourselves is part of spiritual growth, that interdependence matters, that we belong to one another. And if we really believe those things, if we truly hold them in our spirits, then trans joy is not an extra. It's not something nice to have, it's essential. Trans joy is a reflection of everything our faith says it affirms and upholds. It's love made evident, it's transformation made real, it's interdependence alive and breathing and dancing in the streets. But trans joy is not only about outward celebration, it's deeply tied to authenticity and vulnerability, and that's sacred work too. Because it takes courage to show up as your full self in a world that constantly demands you edit, hide, or explain. Joy asks us to be real, to be present, to be willing to be changed by the experience of being known. When trans people live authentically, when we dare to be vulnerable, and when we find ourselves deeply loved, that's joy. That's transformation. That's beloved community in action. It's living our values. It's Unitarian Universalism, and that's sacred. What would it mean for you to be truly seen, truly known, and truly celebrated? Not for what you offer, not for what you achieve, but just for being you. That's what trans joy teaches us, that healing comes through connection, that liberation is bound up in our ability to create spaces where everyone can show up as the whole and messy people that we are, that vulnerability is not weakness, it is a portal to deeper community. Being in the presence of a joy like trans joy creates ripples of healing that radiate outward. It opens something deep within. It calls others into relationship with their full selves. And it reminds us that none of us are free until all of us are free, and that freedom can be beautiful, not just heavy. Not just freedom from oppression, but freedom to become, to rest, to laugh, to thrive. What if our justice theology focused less on identifying harm and more on who needs healing and how? Not only what needs resisting, but also what needs celebrating. Let's be real. We don't build movements only out of joy. We build them out of grief, out of rage, out of heartbreak, and holy anger. These feelings are not in opposition to joy. They're the soil it grows from. Grief tells us what we love. Anger tells us where it hurts. And fear often lives under both, whispering stories about who deserves safety, love, and power. So we don't dismiss those emotions. We process them. We investigate them. We attune to what they're trying to tell us, and we let them move us towards transformation, not stagnation. And then with open hearts and grounded presence, we choose joy anyway. We remember that this is not a denial of pain. It's a declaration that joy will have the last word. That's what joy does. It insists that another world is possible and then helps us build it. One celebration, one connection, one act of radical honesty at a time. Think of the most joyful community space you've ever experienced. Maybe it wasn't grand or loud or even meant to be a moment. Maybe it was a living room where your laughter was met with more laughter. Maybe it was a late night conversation where someone said, "You don't have to explain yourself here." Maybe it was one time you wore something that truly felt like you and someone said, "You look amazing," and meant it. Whatever it was, remember how your body softened. Remember how time slowed down, how you felt more whole, more at ease, more like yourself. That feeling, that quiet, grounded sense of belonging, that togetherness, is what joy rooted in authenticity creates. It's not about a single event or person, but the collective commitment to making room for each other's full selves. It's the soft strength of mutual trust. It's the peace that comes from being safe enough to be vulnerable. That right there, that is the sacred pulse of trans joy made real. So wherever you find yourself on the gender galaxy, whether you are trans or cis or still exploring, or maybe now you aren't quite sure anymore, thank you for being wholly here with curiosity and openness. You are invited into feeling this joy. You are welcome here, not just as an observer, but as someone who can practice joy, protect it, nurture it, and spread it. This is not abstract reflection. This is living, breathing love. And it's asking something of us. It's inviting us. Let joy become part of your faith. Let joy shape your commitment to justice. So let's say yes. Here's what I want you to do. Make joy part of your spiritual practice. Not as a treat, not as an afterthought, but a daily rhythm, a conscious choice. Notice what brings you alive and pay attention to what makes you feel most you. Let yourself experience full delight, even if it feels unfamiliar. Even if the world tries to convince you it's silly or small, don't let them. Because now you know joy is not frivolous, it is fuel. It is what keeps us from burning out. It's what reminds us what we're fighting for. Be the person who brings confetti to the meeting, who shows up with warmth, who says yes to celebration even in hard times. Support trans joy, not just by opposing harm, though that is absolutely part of it, but by uplifting trans brilliance, by amplifying trans voices, by investing in trans-led work. Tell stories that reflect the whole of trans lives, not just the pain. Share the joy, share the triumph, share creativity and love. Join the work, because this is work. Beautiful, sacred, liberating work. And Trans And is one place where that work is happening, where justice meets joy, where organizing meets community, where action meets celebration. There's room for everyone in this work. There's a place for every kind of skill, every kind of heart, every kind of story. There's a role for you, yes, you, in the dance of liberation. So come dance, come build, come laugh, come get free with us. Take a breath, let it land. Let trans joy lead you forward.
Thank you, Jess. I believe Jess will be at General Assembly. Maybe, yes. So if you want to hang out with them more, you can do it there. Now, we eat fruit from trees that are planted long before we were born, and let us plant seeds that bear fruit long after we're gone. If this is your first time with us, feel free to let the collection plates pass you by. This service is our gift to you. Your presence is a gift to us. Today's Share the Plate Sunday, so one half of the non-pledge portion of today's collection will be split between the green team and UU St. Pete's operational fund. So your generosity will support next Sunday's Earth Day climate celebration service, including a climate wish tree processional and a spring spread of treats afterwards in Gilmore Hall. Here in the sanctuary, the offering will now be given and received. Thank you, choir, and thanks to all who contributed. That's what's given in love we receive with great joy. Now please rise as you're willing and able for our closing hymn. It's number 1040, also in the teal hymnal, Hush.
Now Ben is going to show you the dance moves for this song. They're pretty simple. You just follow along with him. But I'm going to sing the first one through, and then we'll come back in on that first one, because I think this is a brand new song for us. Hush, hush, somebody's calling my name. Hush, hush, somebody's calling my name. Hush, hush, somebody's calling my name. Oh my Lord, what shall I do? What shall I do? First verse. Hush, hush, somebody's calling my name. Hush, hush, somebody's calling my name. Hush, hush, somebody's calling my name. Oh my Lord, what shall I do? What shall I do? Sounds like freedom. Somebody's calling my name. Sounds like free. What shall I do? What shall I do? Sounds like justice. Somebody's calling my name. Sounds like justice. Somebody's calling my name. Sounds like justice. Somebody's calling my name. Oh my Lord, what shall I do? What shall I do?
You may be seated for our closing words by Jess.
For our closing words, Spirit of love and liberation, we call upon your sacred truth, that all of us are whole, holy, and beloved. May we not only protect trans lives, may we celebrate them. May we not only resist against harm, may our spaces overflow with joy, belonging, and love. Let us be builders of a world wherein trans kids, trans adults, and trans elders know without question that they are cherished, wherein trans laughter is expected, trans brilliance uplifted, and trans joy celebrated as the divine gift that it is. May our justice be bold, our love be radical, and may we never forget that trans joy is sacred. Amen, Ashe, and blessed be.
Amen. Ashe. Thank you, Jess. Thank you, Jess. We'll hear a postlude from Liam while you remain seated, and then we will release our flame. Azariah Moses is going to extinguish our chalice today, and we invite you to follow along with the hand gestures. Light of truth is this, warmth of love is this, fire of courage is this. The words to your chalice extinguishing are in your order of service. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of love, or the fire of courage. These we carry in our hearts and out into the world. Thanks, Azariah. Our worship is over, but our service begins. Please join us for coffee in Gilmore Hall. And if you see someone not talking to anyone, maybe go and say hello. Now, Jess and I will be in the library for time with the minister, and all are welcome to that. We hope this time together will help you through your week, will help you remember you were not alone. Blessings.